All right, so this is the DB podcast, the Dark Podcast. When you get into the abyss gets back into you, and whatever's within the darkness shines within the light. And when the abyss gets back into you, you get back into the abyss. Okay, read the screen. All right, I ain't gonna lie, that might have been quick for you, but you don't need to worry about all that. So, Stranger Things. All right, so the boy Will in Stranger Things, the cinema. When he's attached, when the entity attaches to him within the fourth dimension because he's in a paralysis state. This is what sleep paralysis is. This is how you fucking know. When you're between the third and the fourth dimension, okay? And you see those entities, they're trying to either attach to you or they already are, which is why they keep trying to hold you down, because they already are in the other side, in between dimensions. And remember, in the previous episodes, I mentioned how they travel in between portals, and the portals that they're traveling through could also be is also your vessel, what mortals refer to as their bodies. So how the fuck can your mind imagine something that doesn't exist, that you swear you've never seen in your waking? What mortals refer to as their life. How the fuck does that work? Explain how your mind can make some shit up that doesn't even fucking exist, if it truly doesn't exist. How can it imagine? And no. In psychology, scientifically, has already confirmed your mind does not imagine things that it has never seen before. So how the fuck are you seeing some shit that doesn't fucking exist? Explain it. In your delusional, fucking ignorant, non-logic. How the fuck do you explain that? Exactly. There's no such thing as hallucinations. Out of all the words that they can use to describe what's going on in your mind, hallucination is the one thing that does not exist. Delusions, illusions, that stuff is real. Hallucinations, no. Psychedelic, psychotic, psychosis, yes. There's a spiritual explanation for that. Hallucination is just someone lying to you about what you're seeing. That's called gaslighting. Okay? So you fuck your psychiatrist. I don't care. The drugs aren't helping you anywhere. You look like you're psychotic. You look like you're going through a manic episode already. You just don't feel it. So what they're doing is they're trying to lower your consciousness so that way you don't have to feel what your soul, your spirit is showing you. And when you see it, what's happening is you're sensing it, aka picking up on it. So your ability to tune into your your inner sense, your deeper senses, your true senses, is basically what you're referring to as psychic abilities. And in the previous episode, what happened with Will is that the traumatic experience activated his genetic codes. The genetic codes are what you refer to as your spiritual gifts. Because a gift is knowledge, information, and wisdom. So it's energy, yeah? It's a form of energy, yeah? Okay. If it's a form of energy and codes are genetic information, that's what a code is. And it's energy, and information is energy. Where would these psychic abilities reside within the vessel if they manifested in what mortals refer to as the physical realm? I mean, where could it honestly be? And then when you're triggered due to traumatic experience, your neurons are firing, which activate different genetic expressions and responses, and trauma exists within the bloodline, which is why you inherit it. It's a genetic expression, which means, and if trauma is just information, according to science, which is the study of consciousness, consciousness, where would the genetics for this be? I mean, it just seems like if trauma is passed down information, which is energy, and and that resides within the genetics, and it's passed down as a genetic expression, and neurons firing, aka triggering, aka activating, causes genetics to, according to science, activate. Dormant genetics. What could genetics be? And why do they even call it genetics? And how come when you unlock certain genetics, you express yourself differently? You even you even mutate. I mean, you'll see someone who looks like what mortals refer to as a late bloomer and just come out of nowhere and he's like a fucking supermodel. Like, what happened to her? Now she has like double D's. What the fuck? I thought she was like a square, a green, a smoothie. What happened? What happened to her genetics that allowed her physical, what mortals refer to as their physical form, to mutate? What could this possibly be? Huh? It's like a gift. He can sing now. He's so strong. He's a dancer. She makes music. She's a fucking artist. She can draw. I mean, I remember in middle school she couldn't even stand straight. She was fucking so clumsy. She was so clumsy, bro. Like, what? Where does this come from? And then if you do genealogy and you trace back genetics, her grandmama, she was a fine little thing too. I mean, she had that thing on. I mean, oh, goodness gracious. Maybe that's where she gets it from. But how did she get it though? She didn't even look like that before. You see how this works? Do you see how this works though? We'll always have the potential, the aptitude to access these abilities within his psyche, just like the girl 11. She incarnated with them. He activated them. Where would they be though? And then you see how he drew vines, and the vines look like neurons firing in the brain. When he was referring to the basically, what is it called? The infection of the entity that was inside of the fourth dimension, all of a sudden now it's in the third dimension, it's crossing into the other side. It exists on both sides at once. Doesn't that sound like paralysis? And then he's obviously having a seizure and he starts shaking and shit because he feels what the entity is feeling. How could he feel that though if he's not inside the entity's vessel? Oh, wait, he has a spirit and his spirits are inside of his mind, not his vessel. Wait, but doesn't that mean that if psychic is referring to your mind and your soul, oh my gosh. Will activated his abilities, his genetic codes through his mind. So your genes are what? Your genes are basically, what could your genes be? So that's for you to figure it out. What does that translate to? You know that your spiritual gifts. You know beauty and prettiness and you know health is a spiritual thing. You know your health is a reflection of your what mortals refer to as their physical health is genetic. You know your beauty is genetic. You know your prettiness is genetic. You know your mind and the way that your psyche works, your psychological profile is, that's genetic. It seems like the soul exists within the genetics. Because psyche is, it refers to the soul. It's not until mortals learn about the psyche that they said that it means mind. It doesn't mean mind, it means soul. So What could it be?